contingencies, or three offers. One, that I write a letter to the editor. These should be places of idealism and ability, and I'm concerned. That wasn't the issue. The issue was
opportunity to review or approval.
I feel that the First Amendment is something that should be protected, and proper training and responsibility for responsible journalism should be taught, if any place, at a university. When a person leaves the university and goes out into the world, they can do what they feel is right or wrong, or break these ethics. But I think they should be respected here.
His research. No, it did not mention.
Cumbersome, dangerous, is involved. In the interviews that you've had with other agents of the press,
Publication that he could take it back. The light I gave him was in no way negative or detrimental, and it in no way mentioned his research.
Originally, it was real dangerous. The possibility of the tank exploding and just demolishing the whole building is what it amounted to start with. So on our first arrival, we had to start cooling the tank itself, and working from this angle, after we started cooling the tank and getting the fire back down, then we shut the valve off, and then everything was under control.
I've stated my position clearly, and I took what action as I took because I thought it was right, number one. Number two, certainly I didn't do it without advice and consent of counsel.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that the Attorney General's ruling...
I have no comment, no further comment.
Tell them, come up. And here's your date.
Okay, so this is the log for the...
They'll tell you, they'll tell you that...
As far as raiding Oklahoma County, which is not really our job as such, but I would say that they've got a very good system. And the reason that we came here was to use them as kind of an idea of a good system, so that when we get out in some of the rural areas that we can see problems that might exist a little easier. Well, if that's just mainly just kind of really the only exercise facilities, one of the standards, or a few of them that address the idea.
go ahead, or most people try to.
Okay, is there a sick call every morning?
Yes, sir, every morning.
Do they have requirements as far as coming to pre-screening and taking a history and physical at first?
Yes, they do.
But But everything pertaining to the...
But here's the thing, these boys, they'll tell you, they'll tell you that they,
As far as raiding Oklahoma County, which is not really our job as such, but I would say that they've got a very good system. And the reason that we came here was to use them as kind of an idea of a good system, so that when we get out in some of the rural areas that we can see problems that might exist a little easier.
You went up to go ahead or?
WKY's Mike Mundy. Yes, we do. I'll get it on for you as soon as we can. We just got through playing it, but I'll play it again as soon as I can, okay? Yeah. Thank you. Khomeini, and as an Ayatollah.
Dear Mr. Ayatollah, we know you call us yellow, and you'd like to see us crawling to wipe you out. Someone gets mad. There's gonna be an oil slick right where Iran used to be.
And release the hostages. Egypt is the only country making a public offer to accept the out of the United States. Iran isn't going to attend tomorrow's United Nations Security Council session.
All right.
It has already
Think we're
said
ready to
it
go.
would not abide by the results anyway.
$30, $30, get them $30, 50 now, 60 now, 60, get them $60, 50, put them at $60 now, 5, get them 5, 55, get them 55, 50, put them at 55. I've got a 50 over here, 50 now, 55, get them 55, 55, 52 and a half, 52 and a half, put them at 52 and a half, 50, put them at 52 and a half. 5 now, 7 and a half, get them 7 and a half, $1, sold them 10 and a half, 2 and a half. Somebody give on it now, somebody give a half $1.
The primary thing is for the economic value of the hospital to Mooreland. It's our largest employer. When we lose this, we have to go somewhere else for medical care. It jeopardizes our rest home. After we lose the hospital, Mooreland's going to go downhill.
Walk over.
Give me 21, 2. Yeah. All right, I'm a 22 and a half. I got 2 times 2 and a half. I'm a 31, 2 and a half on her. I'm a 2 now, 2 and a half. I'm a 22 and a half. Now she was bred, that's right. He is young, sure. But I'll tell you one thing, there's a classy youngster. Now I'll be lot number 8 in. All right, here's Nate Tula. Here's Nate. And Nate Full-Blood here.
We're going to start the female set off with this heifer. Now, I want to, we talked about the qualifying points this morning in the membership meeting, and this heifer...
I think it's highly unlikely. If we anticipate crowd control problems, we do not allow general admission tickets to be sold at rock concerts. Also, we have multiple outlets or multiple entrances for people to come in so that we don't have everyone jammed into a small area.
Wow. Young. 3 of 8.
The fact of the matter is that this is a complex problem unlike any that this nation has faced in peacetime. It may be easier for some to say that we ought to have cheaper energy, cheaper heating oil, cheaper gasoline, that we ought to take the easy way out and try to bring back the good old days of easy, cheap energy by clinging to price controls rather than dealing with the realities of the energy world as it really exists. In my judgment, to do this would be a disservice to the American people.
If there's any basis for having an opinion to kick some alien ownership out of any state or the country, it would have to do because they're trying to take over the state or the power of the state. Now, certainly having apartment houses and office buildings in Oklahoma City, which create jobs, which create ad valorem taxes, which support our schools, can't be a usurpation of the power of our government. Corporations abroad, they will go over with
table. Agree or disagree? Disagree. Sure. We're not supposed to hold our food like a shovel. Ooh, should you ever chew your food with your mouth open? No.
There might be, and I'm sure there are many other things that needs to be done. But then you have to settle with reality. What can you do? And we thought we could do something about this. And we believe that we can. And we think that we will.
We have to remember that just because we're escorting a girl out to the lunchroom doesn't mean that she's your girlfriend, does it? No. She can just be a friend who is a girl. And just because she's a girl doesn't mean that we're not supposed to be considerate. Thank you. Now push it. No. When we're done eating, when we're off, you wipe your mouth. And what do you do with your napkin? Fold it. Fold.
And if we are going to have free ownership of property in this country, and we've got a code that needs to be revitalized.
I have for a long time in this county, we have done all we know to do to establish alternatives to incarceration through programs for persons on alcohol who are alcoholics and persons that are chemically dependent on various drugs, and a number of programs to try to quit sending, persons to prison who are nonviolent.
I need one.
I'm sure that when you're able to go back, you're pretty cheerful. Oh, did you like him? Did he treat you right?
Zero 05 Victor, 29 Fox reports receiving an ELT, and south of Lake Thunderbird.
Target is located west of a ravine, north of an oil well, heading right at the edge of the tree.
They took little.
Grab the stretcher.
Please have your identification cards ready and available for viewing. We have 3 pamphlets to sign in upon.
Certainly a credit to this young man. His second complete year in professional comp, 15 ropers here.
When we come in here, there's somebody going to win and somebody's going to lose. And I'm prepared to win, I'm prepared to lose. I just do the best I can. If he beats me, fine. If he doesn't, you know, I'll be the champ. But if he wins, there's next year.
I was in the same predicament 2 years ago. I had to place in the last go-around of the KIF Open in order to have enough points to be ahead of Tom. I took a chance, and comes down to Sunday night, I'll take another chance.
Here he is, Oklahoma's Tom Ferguson is the all-around champion of the world.
Shaheen Shayan, the highest scoring soccer player ever at Columbia University. Yet the mere mention of his name has brought booing from some spectators. Shayan has been shoved, kicked, and cursed by opposing players, all because he grew up in Iran. Shayan is a U.S. citizen. He was born in New Jersey of Iranian parents, but that does not make the abuse hurt any less. Over the weekend, Shayan played in the last game of his collegiate career, and the biggest, the NCAA Championships in Tampa. Officials tried to ease the pressure on Shayan by listing his hometown as New York. Old brochures said Tehran.
I realize what's going on, and I don't blame anything. I just cope with it until time goes on.
Shayan's team finished fourth in the championships. The angry fans are behind him now. But Shayan is still caught in the international dispute. His mother and sister in California now have visa problems and could be sent back to Iran. And in Iran, his father is trying to come to the U.S., but the Iranian government won't let him. Phil Bremen, NBC News, Tampa.
To be honest with you, I was approached about, well, we may have to get the percentage out of the way. Would you take the job? And I said, if the money's right, I'd take it.
Those comments from a convicted hitman, a man with intimate knowledge of organized crime in Cleveland and now in the protective custody of the federal government as a witness. He says there was a plot to kill Dennis Kucinich, but is it possible, and would the mob carry out such a plan? The Cleveland police say yes.
I can only tell you that the information that we had indicated that there would be a professional attempt on the mayor's life, and that and we started taking immediate steps to ensure that this could not happen.
Why do you think these people would have wanted to do the mayor in?
We can't buy Kucinich. This is what I was told. We can't buy Kucinich. He was cut from a different cloth, and they didn't know where he was coming from, what angle he was coming from. So, you know, they had to work different ways on him.
Even though Kucinich has turned over the reins of Cleveland's government to George Voinovich, the threat to his safety may not be over. Their own investigation and ours have turned up the disturbing information that Kucinich may still be a target.
That contract could still be on the streets.
I'm Mel Martin. About Kucinich. Their own investigation and ours have turned up the disturbing information that Kucinich may still be a target.
It's always been there. I don't think it's going to change anything. I know a lot of people that are in the business, and it hasn't made any difference to them.
It's not that big of a deal to me, so that's why it's not going to make me quit serving, you know, being a bartender. No.
I'll just be a little bit more careful who I serve drinks to and who I ask for cards.
I've read a part of that order, but the pertinent part states, and this court is not just the subject of speculation. It's very clear in the order itself. Obviously, one at seek. And as one reads those statutes, Title 60, Sections 121 through 127 inclusive,
that the Attorney General might deem it appropriate to file sometime after December 14th. But the Supreme Court has removed this case for immediate
to assume jurisdiction.
And you'll see in the affidavit that was filed in support of our papers that were filed in the Supreme Court that Hillcrest has many millions of dollars tied up in these properties, and that there are negotiations now for the sale of some of them. There may be negotiations for the sale of others later. The Attorney General in the state of Oklahoma will not be willing to compensate Hillcrest for the lost profit from any such sale if an escheat action is commenced and as a practical matter or as a legal matter, Hillcrest is unable to convey those properties.
The only thing that I know that this court can do on a temporary hearing is extend that period of time until further order of the court.
21 at seek. And as one reads those statutes, Title 60, Sections 121 through 127 inclusive,
Make that key.
2 years, a year and a half, 2 years, and we were one of the 6 original sites to receive this grant. Oh, year.
Take it off. There it goes.
he has to immediately adjust to a different method of his thought process. There's an anxiety factor introduced into his work because he has now lost an aid that helps him track these targets.
American 460, contact Fort Worth Center 128.3.
Dr. Frank Cox with the Northeast Nichols Heritage Hills, please. To Heritage Hills East Neighborhood Association, representing her today due to illness.
Take it on.
We've lost 3 ambassadors murdered in the last few months. We've had 3 embassies that have either been invaded or burned or both. We now have more than 60 hostages taken in Iran, and we're beyond 41 days now of their captivity. I think we have to re-signal to the powers of the world that we are not warlike. We are going to devote our energies to our problems at home. But at the same time, we will protect our vital national security interests. And if I were president, I would try very hard to signal that.
That if we start now construction and the work and the plans on the part that goes to 63rd Street, and they would approve nothing else ever, we may have gone to a point where we really did not want to go. Some of the Department of Transportation people in Oklahoma have the concern that if we do not get any additional help, that going to 63rd Street and stopping might just compound the problem rather than help solve it.
very dedicated and hardworking people, and it's very true. They do not compare favorably with employees in other states or with jobs in private industry. And we're going to make every effort we can this coming session to improve substantially the salary schedule and pay schedule of our state workers.
Has increased by 34.
The 8% is a part of the governor's budget. That was something that usually the legislature at least sets as a minimum that they're looking at when they convene for raises for the state employees. We realize our employees are not paid as much as in comparable states, and we're trying to do something about it.
Probably sometime tomorrow. And leave a message for you.
Big cousins, please. Can I see you? No, the cousins. Just to talk for a moment, I just want to ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Have a great
with designation of record attached and filed in district.
Did you want an extra copy? That's all there is to it. I'm gonna have 10 o'clock.
And he's going to file something with it.
For the first time in all her testimony, Verna cried and said she was confused about things she'd said in OSBI reports. But her testimony was enough to convince the judge there's cause to try Stafford for murder. Joan Lowenstein, News Center 4.
This is a train. This is a train. Train.
I have to. And show me your book. Close your book, please.
This is a book.
A book.
A book.
Very good. Mr. Clark.
This is a book.
Very good.
This is a book. This is a book.
Very good.
This is a book.
You. This is a table. This is a woman.
The Iranian terrorists say they're not mad at the American people. They say they're mad at the United States government. Well, we the people are the government. So if we wave our flags all over America, it'll hopefully the Khomeini will get the message.
I was fixing dinner for the kids. They burst through the front door. They said they wanted to use the phone. I said, yeah. I went in the bedroom, got my gun, set them down on the divan. I was on the phone with the city when they broke in the front door. Laid one down, handcuffed him, the city got the other one.
They didn't resist at all? I mean, what?
No, I said, you're crazy to break in a house with a mother and kids. You can get killed. That's all, you know.
There's the lady that got him right there.
Single-handedly, no less.
Primarily, the reason for our modest slowdown in movement of homes is just the time of year. We find that the last quarter or the last 2 months of a year, and generally January and into February, because of weather conditions and activities for the holidays, generally leads to a mild turn down in the number of units moved.
They park there. They make their way up to here to see the physician. He may send them down to X-ray, which is 240. It should be suited in conjunction with that echo. We have no way of regulating the heat. It stays that way? Yes, sir. It's either hot or it's cold. And that on the other end of the building, which is the temperature system.
Until a particular individual is affected, people don't care. Doesn't affect me, so therefore I'm not concerned about it. Now, the minute they get my job or threaten my job, then I'm concerned about it.
Yes, we have a labor problem, and then the illegal aliens will work and are, eager to work. Then if guys in a position such as myself goes out and runs roughshod trying to round up every illegal alien, then I've hurt myself politically with our agricultural people.